Afia was very pressed after finishing a heavy plate of jollof. She quickly asked the waitress where the restroom was. The waitress pointed to a small door at the back. But when Afia got there, it was already occupied. Unable to hold it, she noticed a swinging door nearby leading to the kitchen. Out of curiosity, she peeped through. What she saw shook her to the core. Dirty dishes were piled up high beside the cooking pots. Raw goat meat was left in the open, swarmed by flies. The women cooking had greasy hair tucked into stained aprons that looked like they hadn't been washed for months. The tiled floor was sticky and full of filth, and rats scurried around freely. Then Afia's eyes caught the head cook, a huge dark-skinned woman in a sleeveless kobo. The woman scratched her sweaty armpit with the very spoon she was using to stir light soup and continued stirring as though nothing had happened. Afia's stomach turned. She quickly covered her mouth and nose with her hand, rushing out of the kitchen. Back in the dining area, she could no longer enjoy herself. She ran outside and vomited violently, regretting every bite she had just eaten. Afia had grown up eating from food vendors. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Amankwa, were always busy with work. Her father was a driver who spent months on the road, while her mother ran a provisions shop at Makola Market. Cooking at home was never a priority. Every morning before school, her parents gave her and her siblings Yor and Abina money to buy breakfast from the Kenki seller down the street. In the afternoon, they would buy rice or beans from a chop bar. At night, fried yam and fish from roadside vendors became their dinner. Afia, being the eldest, often acted as the caretaker of her siblings, but she never learned how to cook because her mother never had time to teach her. As she grew older, she developed a deep love for street food, wasi, fufu, banku, fried rice, you name it. To her, cooking was unnecessary stress. Eating outside was faster, tastier, and easier. Her friend, Serwa, often warned her, "Afia, don't you know it's cheaper and safer to cook at home? Why waste money on food from the streets?" But Afia always brushed her off. "Serwa, it's my money. Besides, cooking is a waste of time." After graduating from university, Afia was posted to a rural community for her national service. It was there she met Serwa, another graduate teacher. They quickly became close friends and rented a room together. But their lifestyles clashed. Serwa loved cooking. She would go to the market, buy fresh tomatoes, kontomire, smoked fish, and prepare stews. She stocked the room with pots and plates. Afia, on the other hand, bought no utensils. Instead, she went from chop bar to chop bar, exploring which one had the tastiest food. Serwa often teased her, "Afia, so you really don't know how to cook at all?" Afia would laugh it off and reply, "Why stress myself when others can cook for me?" Every evening, Afia returned home with a different pack of food, while Serwa's delicious home-cooked meals filled the room with aroma. One evening, while Afia and Serwa were returning from school, a sleek car stopped beside them. A tall, handsome man dressed in neat kaftan stepped out. "Good evening, ladies. My name is Kwabena," he said politely. His attention was on Afia. He asked for her number, and soon the two of them began talking regularly. Kwabena was a successful businessman who owned several shops across the city. He often took Afia to expensive restaurants. Afia loved every moment, and soon, she fell in love with him. But one Saturday, Kwabena visited Afia's home unexpectedly. After chatting for a while, his stomach growled. Laughing, he said, "Afia, I'm hungry. Please cook something for me. I want to taste your food." Afia froze. She tried to convince him to order from a restaurant instead. But Kwabena refused, smiling. "No, I want to know how good you are in the kitchen." Afia sighed, then confessed. "Kwabena, I'm sorry. I can't cook." Kwabena stared at her, shocked. "You mean, a beautiful lady like you can't even prepare jollof or light soup?" Afia nodded shamefully. Kwabena's smile disappeared. He quickly stood up, thanked her, and left. When Serwa returned home later, she found Afia looking very sad. "What happened?" she asked. Afia lied, saying she lost money, too embarrassed to admit the truth. But inside, her heart was broken. She realized Kwabena might never call again, all because of something as basic as cooking. Some weeks later, Afia discovered a new, luxurious restaurant in town. It was beautifully decorated, and always full of customers. Curious, she went in and ordered. To her surprise, the food was both delicious and cheap. "This place is perfect," Afia thought. From that day, she became a regular customer. The waiters even memorized her favorite dishes. Sometimes, she ordered takeaway to her school. Everything seemed fine until one afternoon at work, she almost finished eating her jollof rice when she spotted a dead cockroach inside the food. Her stomach turned. She pushed the plate away in disgust. But instead of stopping, she excused it as a mistake and continued patronizing them. A week later, Afia fell seriously ill. She was rushed to the hospital with severe stomach pains and fever. After several tests, the doctor told her that the cause of her illness was a strange bacteria known to breed only in very dirty places. He said to her, "Always make sure your kitchen and cooking environment are clean." Afia was admitted for days. Serwa became her caregiver, cooking porridge and soup for her until she recovered. But once she regained her strength, Afia returned to her old habits. Even Serwa's warning, "Afia, are you not tired of sickness?" couldn't change her mind. Within a month, Afia landed in the hospital again. This time, the sickness was worse. After her third hospital visit, she became suspicious. Why was it always after eating from that particular restaurant? One Saturday, she decided to investigate. She ate there again, then pretended to be pressed and asked for the restroom. Finding it occupied, she sneaked into the kitchen through the swinging door. What she saw made her stomach twist. Dirty dishes were piled up high beside the cooking pots. Raw goat meat was left in the open, swarmed by flies. The women cooking had greasy hair tucked into stained aprons that looked like they hadn't been washed for months. The tiled floor was sticky and full of filth, and rats scurried around freely. Then Afia's eyes caught the head cook, a huge dark-skinned woman in a sleeveless kobo. The woman scratched her sweaty armpit with the very spoon she was using to stir light soup and continued stirring as though nothing had happened. Afia's stomach turned. She quickly covered her mouth and nose with her hand, rushing out of the kitchen. Afia rushed back to her seat, pretending nothing was wrong. But deep inside, she knew she had been foolish all along. From that day, she decided to change. She cleaned out her kitchen, bought new pots, pans, and utensils, and asked Serwa to teach her how to cook. At first, her meals looked plain and unappealing, but they tasted fresh and clean. Slowly, Afia began to enjoy cooking. She carried her own food to school, and her colleagues admired her new lifestyle. One evening, Kwabena came back to apologize. He admitted that he had overreacted. Afia, now confident in her cooking, invited him in. She served him jollof rice and grilled chicken she had prepared herself. Kwabena was impressed. In time, they reconciled, and months later, they married. Afia had finally learned the hard way that appearances can be deceiving. Not every beautiful restaurant is hygienic. And no matter how busy life gets, there is wisdom in knowing how to cook. Moral of the story: always check the source of your food. Teach your children basic life skills, no matter how busy you are. And when you love someone, guide them patiently instead of walking away.
Which part of Afia's story taught you the biggest lesson? Share in the comments, your answer might inspire someone else. And if you love stories like this, make sure to subscribe and join our storytelling family.